Okay, boys and girls. So we had to switch the setting from document camera to PowerPoint slides. So we left at our first anchor problem, and I just want to show you some things that I wrote on this PowerPoint. How to find the volume, right, of a complex figure. The first thing we need to do is make sure that we first find the volume of the first rectangular prism, then find the volume of the second rectangular prism. Add the products of each of the volumes to find the total volume and to get that entire volume. And when you write your final answer, it should be written as unit cubes or cubic units. Okay, that's very important to know. So in the next slide, as you can see, I underlined important keywords here. Decompose, like I showed you when we were working on the video. I decomposed, right? I decomposed the figure into two figures. So here's the first figure, here's the second figure. As you can see, I labeled volume 1 and volume 2, okay? The next thing that I needed to do was I needed to label what were my length, what were my width, and what is my height. So for the first volume, the first prism, the length is 2, the width is 4, and the height is 3, okay? So as you can see here, I wrote my formula for volume. Volume equals length times width times height. My first rectangular prism volume is 2 times 4 times 3, and then I multiply those three digits, those three dimensions, to get 24. Okay, I got 2, 3, and 4. Those are my length, width, and height, and when I multiply the three digits, I get 24. I am not done. Now I need to find the volume of the second prism as well, so that I can figure out what is the total volume of this rectangular prism. Okay, so volume 2 is the length is 2, the width is 4, and the height is only 1, right? There's only one cube there. There's no layers. So for my volume 2, I write the three dimensions that I got. Length is 2, width is 4, and the height is 1. When I multiply that, that equals 8. Now, do you see here the third step? It says we need to add the products of each of the volumes. We need to add these two products. These are the final answers to get the total volume. So 2 times 4 times 3 is going to be 24, and 2 times 4 times 1 is 8. So 8 plus 24 plus 8 equals 32. Okay? And I need to write, so let me just include that, because I just told you that we need to make sure that when we are writing an answer, it has to include Sophie equals 32 unit cube. Okay, so that's my final answer there. Okay, now the second part of this question says make an expression, right? I needed to include an expression. So here's my expression where I'm showing how I got my answer. Okay, so I did both parts, right? I found the volume of the rectangular prisms, and here it is, and I wrote an expression. Okay, let's continue to anchor problem number 2. Sherry is building a toy. She has to attach right rectangular prism A to right rectangular prism B. A model of the toy is shown. Okay, so this is Sherry. She is building a toy, right? So this is rectangular prism A, and I underline that so now I know that this is what the problem is talking about. And here's the other prism, prism B, okay? Now, I circled the question that is being asked that I need to find. What is the total volume of the toy? Okay, so I need to find the total volume of this. So the first thing that we need to do is what, boys and girls? Think about what is the first thing you need to do. Right, we need to split it into 2 rectangular prisms, okay? So as you can see, I knew that I had to get the volume for the first prism here, and I needed to find the volume for this prism here. So again, I label so that I know what are the 2 prisms. So here's volume 2 and here's volume 1. I label my width, my length, and height for both prisms. I make sure to include the formula that I'm going to be using. So for volume 1, I put in my length, my width, and my height, which is 4 times 3 times 8, which equals 96. For my volume 2 prism, I enter 14. And now I just want to slow it down. Many of you may say, how did you get 14, Miss Lara? Well, do you see this length here? Right? This is the total length for A and B prism. If I'm only looking at prism B, I have to do subtraction, right? I have to subtract the A part of this length. And I already know that prism A's length is 14. So I'm sorry, 4. So I need to subtract 4 from 18, which is going to be 14, right? 14 now becomes my length for prism B. So that's how I got 14. 14 plus 3, which is my width, times 5 will be 210. Now, again, step 3 says add the products of each of the volumes to find the total volume. So I got 96 plus 210 is going to give me 306. So the volume for Sherry's toy is 306 cubic units. Check your work. Did you get the same answer? Awesome. Okay, let's keep going. Error analysis. So I'm going to give you a second to read the problem to yourselves. Okay, now everyone has read the problem. And something that we notice, what are the common errors? I want you to jot that down in your paper. What are some of the common errors that you're noticing that this student has done? Okay? And how can we avoid this mistake? Okay? So jot that down quickly on your notebook. Okay, so when I looked at the student's work, I noticed that they did add the length, the width, and the height for each of the prisms. However, they did not add the volume of the two rectangular prisms to find the total volume. Did you notice that too? Okay. So, some ways that we can avoid this common error is to make sure that we're using a checklist like I have here, right? Make sure you're using some type of checklist, a rubric, your tools, okay? Also, try to solve it using a different strategy, okay? And if you did the work, and I would, if I were you, if you did not finish, I would just pause it right here. Pause the video, and try to see if you got the same answer that I did. I got 3,480 unit cubes. Did you get the same answer? Let's see. Okay, guys. So here's the next problem. Okay, I want you to pause it for a minute and try to solve the problem on your own and then check your work. Okay, we don't have partners at home, or maybe you do have a partner. Try to work with someone if you can. If not, just pause it right here and check your work. Okay, great. Were you able to get the same answer as I did? Were you able to decompose the figure into two prisms? Awesome. Okay, let's go to the independent work. Again, boys and girls, I did the work here, but I strongly suggest that you also try to do the work independently. Pause it right here for a minute. Try to do it on your own without looking. Then come back and check your work. Okay? So just pause it. Hit the pause. Great. Come back, guys. Now notice, were you able to label your two prisms? Were you able to decompose? Did you include a formula? Were you able to add both of the volume products, your final answer, to get the total volume of the rectangular prism? Awesome. Okay, you're ready for the independent work. So the next couple of pages that you can see is what you're going to be doing for independent work, okay? Make sure that you are looking and doing the same steps that we did during our mini lesson, okay? I will be putting the answers up tomorrow, so stay tuned. Bye.